and then I'm going to open up. So, hey guys, welcome to our call. Today we have Arnauld Nakaha. Arnauld, did I say it right?
You said it right.
Yay! Okay. Arnauld is the director of sales, right? Is that right? For the regional, for what region?
So I'm over the central region in Canada.
Central region in Canada. So we are so excited to have him. First, I'm going to do, before we get started with Arnauld, and I'm going to share a little bit more about him. And I want to go ahead and share a couple of things today. First off, welcome to our team call. We're doing a little different today because Arnauld graciously offered to talk for us today and share his insight on the leadership ladder. So, but first, as always, I'd like to do a little recognition, updates, and then do some training by Arnauld. So first off, I would like to give a huge shout out to Mimi for hitting Diamond Coach, and then also Monica for hitting Diamond Coach, Lori for hitting Diamond Coach, and Erica for hitting Diamond, and Dorothy for hitting Diamond, and then also Sweet Bailey for hitting Diamond. Congratulations, guys, for hitting Diamond. Also wanted to give you some updates. This month we have, as you know, Hammer and Chisel is out for $160, so that's really a big deal. Also remember that Beachbody On Demand is always $140, and that's a really good product to sell as well this month because people are on the go. They're like, I don't have time to work out. Yes, you do. If you have your phone with you, or you have your laptop, or you have your iPad or Kindle, you can work out from anywhere as long as you have Wi-Fi. So that's super cool. The other thing is, make sure that you are making plans to attend Super Saturday or Super Sunday or Super Friday, wherever it is. It's the first full weekend, so it's like the 8th, 9th, 10th of January. So make sure that you are there, and then also make sure that you have gotten your ticket for Summit. It's going to be awesome. So those are just a couple quick updates that I wanted to do. So we're going to talk about leadership ladder today with Arnauld, and so I want to kind of show kind of the difference in people that are becoming team leaders versus we just want to talk about leadership ladder. So we have Arnauld because some of us are really confused about the leadership ladder, and so we wanted to kind of talk to you, Arnauld. So a little bit of background on Arnauld. Arnauld used to work with me because I was in his region 4 years ago, and Arnauld was so instrumental in my business by keeping me accountable and helping me set some goals and stick to them. And that's what I feel like the leadership ladder is as well. And so that's why I asked him to share, because he helped me so much. Even one day to the point of, I tell the story like almost the point of tears, because he was keeping me accountable, but it was so important because that made a huge difference. Because he kept me accountable, I created habits that help me in my business. And 4 years later, I'm making 11 times what I was making 4 years ago. And so it's a huge difference in how it just compounded from those setting goals that he taught me 4 years ago. So if you don't know what the Beachbody, the ladder is or whatever, you can go on your homepage, there's a little I don't know, like a little graph, I guess, and you can press on it, and it says leadership ladder, and you can see where you are. They update them after the 5th day of the month, and they're the executive leader, organizational leader, team builder, and business starter. And we're really going to start focusing on this in 2016, which is why I wanted to kind of touch base with it and talk about it a little bit. So here is, so I'm going to let Arnauld go, and I'm going to ask questions too as I'm learning more about it and that sort of thing. So go for it.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. And thank you for having me, team. Just great to be here, and really just excited to talk about something that I think will be hugely instrumental for you guys. But before I get started, Stephanie, when did you guys move to Colorado? I know it was December.
4 years. It was 4 years ago this month.
2011.
2011.
Okay, so I remember, that month of December, and to tell you a quick story, and it has a lot to do with the leadership ladder. It was December, Stephanie and Jeff, they were moving to Colorado, relocating from Texas. And she had a big goal early that year of being an elite coach. And it literally came to the 11th hour, and she had to pull all kinds of strings and work extra hard to make that happen. And I remember having calls where Stephanie probably disliked me. Jeff probably thought that I was a slave driver and probably hated me and probably said a few choice words about me. But I remember talking to Stephanie about elite and how important the goal was, and the fact that this would be one of those goals that she achieves that would lay the foundation long term. You heard her talk about the activities that she's been doing consistently since then and since before that. But I remember having this one call where Stephanie literally was on the verge of tears, if not tears, and she had to make a decision. Ultimately, the decision was hers. The decision was hers whether she carries through, pushes through, regardless of the odds, regardless of the fact that she is traveling and moving her family to Colorado. By the way, I think it was close to Christmas or the holidays.
Yeah,
and she had to do literally whatever it took to make that happen, right? And not only did she become an elite coach, but she's been back-to-back elite coach. And that did not happen by accident. That happened because of her leadership, because of her sheer desire to do something great. Okay, she wasn't willing to sacrifice great for good. She could have sat back and been okay with just good, which she had done really well that year, but she wanted great. And that greatness is what has developed this team. That greatness, that just sheer resolve to push through the obstacles is what has created all of you, because she leads by example. So kudos to you, Stephanie, for making that choice and for continuing to lead by example.
Well, thank you for pushing me. Hopefully this year our team will hit the 6th year of elite, so that's nice.
That's right. So listen, if you're watching this, know that you can be here leading your own team call. Know that it's worth it to push through this month. If you're watching it right now in December of 2015, it's been a great year, but the year is not done yet. So today I want to talk about the leadership ladder. Okay. But before I talk about that, again, I want to give you some context. I remember when I first started working with the Central Region, I worked with a 5-star, then I worked with a 10-star. And they were both doing great, doing some good things and building the business. But there's a couple differences that I noticed. The 5-star business coach was also developing other leaders. The 10-star coach was really developing a lot of diamonds. Like, she was really good at developing diamonds. The 5-star took a little bit longer with those that were matching her efforts and was developing like 1-star diamonds and 2-star diamonds, right? And I remember looking into their back office, and the 5-star diamond had a much stronger, much sturdier business than the 10-star. The 10-star on paper, looking at their business from a recognition standpoint, looked like they were doing great, but the 5-star was much more solid, right? And interestingly, that same 5-star has now advanced multiple times as well herself. So I started digging into it, and I quickly found out, well, our compensation plan, the way it's laid out, is really focused on consistent contribution and growth. And there was one piece that was missing, which I believe is long-term residual stability of your income and of your business through volume and your paycheck. And that's when we started really racking our brains, and we finally came with a leadership ladder. Okay, that's what we created, and that was shared here about a year and a half ago, I want to say, Stephanie. But the goals of the leadership ladder, let me tell you what's in it for you, because you're probably watching this going, what's in it for me and how do I benefit from this? And I'll break it down for you guys. The number one thing that what's in it for you is you need to strengthen your foundation. Think about building a house. And I live in this neighborhood that is a new neighborhood, and there's all these houses that are being built and the foundations are being built. And you look at the foundation, it really is the sturdier part of the house, right? It's like, it's really just a steady, solid foundation. And the house, I mean, it's all wood. If you look at, any kind of like fires that take over houses, the foundation is still solid. The house is what disappears. So when you think about building your business long-term, you got to ask yourself, am I building a business for a lunchtime or for a lifetime? Like, what am I doing this for? Is this something that's going to help me just this year, or do I see this as a legacy type of business? If you're looking at it as a legacy type of business, I'm talking to you today. Okay, so that's number one, strengthen your foundation. Number two, really same, in the same vein as number one, is you're wanting to build long-term residual income. Okay, when I say residual, it means it's tied directly to your volume and the income generated from that volume. Lots of you, as you get started, the thing that Stephanie and all the teams from, and all the leaders from this team will tell you is you need to hit Success Club 5. You need to get to Emerald. You need to start retailing and running challenge group, which is fantastic as you get started. But long-term, what you want is you want a team of other leaders that are doing what you're doing, okay? Because unless you transfer the skill, okay, I think the two things that you want to do as a Beachbody coach is, number one, learn the skill. Number two, transfer the skill. Because until you transfer the skill, I've seen it many, many times in my 5 years being here, is unless you're able to transfer the skill, you're not going to be able to build kind of a volunteer army of leaders. You may be able to create a volunteer army of challengers and customers, which is fantastic. But if you're wanting to build a business for a lifetime, you want an army of leaders. That's what you want to do, okay? As we got into it, we started looking at the numbers. So you might have seen the first graph. Stephanie, if you don't mind going back a couple, so you'll see the first graph there, that one, right? So we ran these numbers for about 10 months, okay? About January basically to October. And you'll see on in the orange part, it's the percent of diamonds advancing in rank, percent of team leaders advancing in rank, okay? So what we did, we grouped basically a number of diamonds, okay? And we looked at the diamonds that were at diamond, and then we looked at those diamonds that were at least team leader and above, okay? Diamonds that were just at diamond, and diamonds that are team leader, okay? And after 10 months, in October there, the red part is covering it, but you'll see 63% of those diamonds that were team leaders advanced in rank. 63% of that group advanced in rank. So the misconception sometimes is that if I am a team leader or going after the leadership ladder, I am not as focused on recognition and advancement. It's far from the truth. As you can see, 63% advanced in rank. On the other hand, those that were not team leader, only 10% advanced in rank. Only 10% advanced in rank, right? So it speaks to not only the long-term stability, but it also speaks to the pipeline of coaches that they actually have. You think about it this way, a goal could be diamond, a stretch goal is team leader, right? A goal is diamond, a stretch goal is team leader. So if you look across the leadership ladder, categories there, Stephanie, if you want to go to the leadership ladder,
that one?
Right, that one right there.
Okay.
You could look at that third line, highest paid rank. Okay, from the left, business star, it goes coach, emerald, diamond, 2-star, and 5-star. Figure out where you are, whether you're an emerald listening to this call or a diamond or even a brand new coach. Just look at that and say, am I a diamond? Okay, what do I need to do to get to team leader? Diamond is your goal, team leader is your stretch goal. Am I a 2-star? Premier coach, 2-star is your goal, organizational leader is your stretch goal. And that basically happens anywhere from 2 to 4-star diamond. Are you a 5-star and above? Are you an executive leader? By the way, these don't need to remain within the same column. You might be a 5-star and you're pushing to be an organizational leader, right? These are just benchmarks. That's all they are. They're not requirements within the compensation plan, nor are we planning for them to be requirements on the compensation plan. We just know that those that push for the leadership ladder and start institutionalizing that in their teams, that they're seeing much better results in terms of volume production, in terms of leadership development, and obviously with their commissions and long-term residual income. And I'm going to talk about how do you execute that? How do you?
Okay, so can I have a question real quick for you, Arnold? So were you saying that those diamonds that you were talking about earlier, those diamonds were just diamonds, right? So were they people that got to diamond? The 10% were people that got to diamond and just stayed there, or what was the difference in them and a team leader?
Okay, so what we did is basically I think we pulled about 1,000 coaches. Okay, about 1,000 coaches that were diamond coaches. Okay, just diamond meaning lifetime rank is diamond coach.
Uh-huh.
And we took those numbers from, I want to say, January of 2014. Okay, and then we looked at how those that were team leader behaved compared to those that were not team leaders. Okay, so the initial kind of like the control group, if you will, were all diamonds, but within those diamonds, some were team leaders, some were not team leaders. Okay, we didn't choose and said, let's pick however many team leaders, let's pick however many non-team leaders. At the end of 10 months, we looked at what they did in their businesses. Those that were a team leader of the group, of that initial group of team leaders, 63% of that group advanced in rank.
Okay. Whereas the diamonds, those that were just diamonds that weren't a team leader, weren't focusing on those other things, they didn't advance. So they just kind of were still diamonds. Maybe they fell out of diamond or something because they were just trying to maintain, not trying to build.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the answer lies at, if you look at team leader on this graph, you'll see the fourth line down, which is PS with 1+ SC points. These are the coaches that are achieving Success Club 5, right? As a team leader, you have to have 4 coaches that achieve at least Success Club 1, obviously, but you'll find out many, many times that they have more than 1 Success Club point, obviously, right? So the behavior is different. Those that are just a diamond, it's almost like a get to diamond, okay? And then I go, all right, guys, get to work. It's your time. It's your turn to be diamond, right? Versus the team leader, the way they behave, they go, not only I'm going to shoot for more than the 8, I'm going to go for 10 to 12. And then I'm going to continue helping people achieve Success Club, right? It's not only just me doing it, it's other coaches, what they're doing. And the team leader, the reason why they advanced is they just had other people that wanting to build a business. That's as simple as that, right? Versus a diamond that just gets to diamond and he's just stuck at diamond. That's the difference there, right? It's a shift in mindset, okay? Here's another number that I think you guys will appreciate. At the end of the day, when you look at why you're building the business, you're not as good as it sounds to be on stage, to be recognized at, on this team call, to be on the national wake up call. At the end of the day, a lot of the whys, they're not material wise, but money sure helps you get to those whys, helps you achieve those whys, right? So one stat that we pulled was the average monthly earnings for team leader coaching. The average monthly earnings for those coaches that were team leaders, and the earning per month on average was $2,395, $2,395, so almost $2,400 a month. Okay, what could $2,400 a month do for you? Would that help you pay some bills? Would that help you, think about that car note? If you let's say you've got, I don't know, 10,000 remaining, you could pay that in 4 months. Pretty crazy, right? Like, just start thinking about that. Or, think about your mortgage. How much is your mortgage? Maybe $1,000, $1,500. You could double up on that mortgage if you want and pay it faster, okay? Or completely take care of it. I want to attach all this stuff to real life, right? Because this has an effect on real life, okay? So those are the numbers at a glance. Okay, so what to do now, right? Because obviously we've had a year and a half of groundwork, explaining what the leadership ladder does and how it works. I think if you're any of these levels, emerald or diamond or 2-star or whatever, if you go under training in the back office and you just go to leadership ladder, there's actually a tab that says what you should be doing at every single one of these levels, right? As far as how do you execute, so go into under leadership ladder, and it will tell you, as a business starter, here's what I need to be doing. A, B, C, D. Literally, it spells it out. because you might be watching this going, okay, I do not know where to start, right? So just go there. I'm not going to spend, 30 minutes explaining it, but at Business Starter, it just writes down, it just tells you exactly what you need to do: team builder, team leader, org leader, and executive leader. Okay. So that's the first place you need to do. That's one. If you are leading a team, if you're one of the leaders, of the Rockstar group, here's what you need to do. Okay. There's 3 things that I wrote down for myself here. Okay. The 3 things that you need to do is number 1 is you need to understand what these rungs are, right? So you need to do some reverse engineering. If you have a team, you have to understand what a business starter is, what a team builder is, what a team leader is, and you need to be able to point your coaches to the right activities. So you need to be able to tell your coach that is an Emerald what they need to do to become a team builder, right? The team volume per month, obviously the PS coaches they need to help, and what the potential is. You need to kind of paint the picture of what's possible, right? So you need to reverse engineer. I think that's very important. That's number 1. Number 2, once you have understood how to reverse engineer it, is this, guys: people will rise to your lowest expectations, but that which is rewarded and recognized is acted upon. That which is rewarded and recognized is acted upon, right? So recognition. You guys get a report on your PS coaches. Get that recognition. The same way that I know a lot of organizations will recognize volume, team volume, personal volume. You will recognize advancements, recognize team leaders, and recognize team builders and business starters and all that, right? I think it's such a cool thing to do, especially new team leader advancements, new team builders, and new business starters. Every time you have new people and you're pointing the arrows at that, number 1, you're going to bring awareness to it. And number 2, more people are going to actually start building solid businesses versus an Emerald, getting to 2 people, my wife and my best friend, getting to a team leader, not just 8, but 10 solid people, 4 of which are achieving Success Club 5. Okay, so recognition is a big deal, right? Now, the last thing is goals. Okay, if you've reverse engineered and you've done the recognition, we're at the end of 2015, and every second week of December, I typically send an email and I'll ask my leaders to give me their goals. Not only what they want to do, but who they're going to help this coming year. So it's simple. You need to include that in your discussions of goals. Not just I'm going to be a premier or an elite coach or I want to get to diamond. How about team leader, right? And once you get those goals, then you can reverse engineer it, okay? Let me end with this, Stephanie, and I'll answer any questions you have. Because every time something new happens, something new is introduced, there's 2 categories of people. You've got the early adopters, and then you've got the late bloomers, okay? If you're watching this, hopefully this pushes you to be more of an early adopter. An early adopter should have happened about a year ago, but you still have time to adopt it. Just last week, we met as a management team, and we're actually going to raise the decibel level. I think we need to raise the decibel level. This is not going to be something attached to the compensation plan, but this is something that we see strengthening your businesses, right? So you could be an early adopter or a late bloomer. Here's what happens when you're a late bloomer. Whatever you do as a leader, that's exactly what your coaches will do. I see it over and over again, right? So you have to make a decision today to be that early adopter, to start doing the heavy lifting. Some of this might feel like heavy lifting, but I'm telling you, if you build that foundation and you do it early enough and you do the hard work for your team and your coaches, it's going to be a lot easier for them to follow in your footsteps. So I hope this helps clarify some of the leadership ladder questions that you might have. I hope it helps guide you to not only do the right activities, but also have the right goals for 2016. And if you have any questions, just know that the regional team is very versed on the leadership ladder. If you're in touch with any of us, just reach out and let us help you craft your goals, but also craft your activity for 2016 and beyond. So
awesome.
Let me stop there. And
yeah, so I think it's really important to go back to what you were talking about is with that 5-star, that 5-star compared to that 10-star. Sometimes we chase rank instead of chasing income. And so I think what that 5-star did that was developing leaders is that 5-star that you were talking about was focusing on how many of their coaches were hitting Success Club. How many of their coaches were earning $1,000 a month or whatever it was. And so because of that, and that's what happened to me, is that I was focusing on I was focusing on myself. I was focusing on getting my coaches to Star Diamond and that sort of thing. And my volume grew so fast because I was focusing on, okay, how many challenge groups are you having? How many people are in your challenge group? You know, who are you working with? Who are, you know, and so when I was digging deep like that, the volume just blew up to the fact that I was like, oh no, I'm not 10-star. I need to be 10-star because I'm capping out. You know, I mean, that's a nice problem to have, right? So, but I think it's just focusing on what your team is doing and having that goal, you know, because what I'm seeing is coaches are hitting Success Club. And when we started this, how many months has Success Club been around? Like, this is going to be like the 4th
I think
year?
it's the 5th year because we started it in 5th year. 2010 is when we introduced it.
Yeah, and I remember like that first month, I was like, what is that? I'm not doing that. That's so dumb. And then I kind of understood it. I was a late bloomer, I guess. And so then when I figured it out, I was like, oh, it's rewarding you for consistent behavior. I'm like, oh, okay, so I haven't missed haven't missed 1 month since then. So, but what I'm seeing is coaches are coming out and they're going, okay, well, I hit Success Club for the past 12 months, but my check is not growing, right? Mm-hmm. And because basically they're just replacing people, replacing customers or whatever, and they're not seeing that huge income growth. Those coaches who are not only hitting Success Club, but also focusing on those coaches, their coaches hitting Success Club, their checks are growing so much faster. So I know for my team, we're going to start recognizing this next year as being, you know, kind of just like Success Club has always been like a no-brainer. Like you hit Success Club every month if you want to build a successful business. That's going to be where we're going towards the leadership ladder so that we can really help people grow their checks. And so, you know, it's great to do this business and help people, and that's what we're here for, and that's the core. But wouldn't it be a lot better if we could earn money faster, right? So that's why, you know, I wanted Arnauld to come and talk to us about the leadership ladder, why it's important, and help us to figure it out. So if you go back, he said under training tools, under leadership ladder, there's actual steps on how to execute. And I'm really excited for y'all to go back and read those and learn from there. And thank you, Arnauld, for being on this call and explaining it a little bit, why it started and why it's important. And I'm excited to watch our team grow next year through the leadership ladder. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Stephanie. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Okay.